coffee. Yeah. Started off with some ASMR. Oh, now I'm telling you, this stand's gonna give me an issue. You're gonna fight this.
Is it aligned? There we go. Must be aligned.
It's still gonna fall. Rub up on the stand. Oh, you know what it is? It's the carpet. Dude, can you do me a favor and like lift the carpet onto the prong? You know what I'm saying? Like lift it up. Oh, there we go. Beautiful.
Maybe that works. It's quite a tall chair.
Yeah, I'm quite a tall human.
Cap.
Yo, we can't even be serious.
Absolute cap.
Can't even be serious when you say that.
Absolute cap.
Wait, shh. What would you rate this coffee?
I like this coffee.
Yeah, it's Jacob's.
It's got a good strong.
Jacob's finest.
Yeah,
Welcome back. Wait, should we do the clap? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was my weakest clap. You see what I just did?
Now we can't we're not gonna align the audio properly now.
No, it's fine. It's loud in my ear.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Welcome
What
back
episode are we on now?
to episode 6 of Matt Sandwiches.
Episode 6.
We originally planned to have a really cool guest on today, but he was sick.
We got sick this morning.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward. We're gonna reschedule that for
That's going to be a
week.
super cool episode.
Very cool. Very
Just like this
insightful.
episode. It's going to be cool.
Dude, you know what was trippy for me? I was watching a podcast where a guy was talking about, like double standards there are in terms of cancel culture. And he was saying, people give these OnlyFans girls a hard time. Like, oh, you're not going to get a job. Like, if people look at that in your history, do you really think people are going to hire you? And then people, really give them a hard time for that. But then we also, on the other end, the same people saying we should give OnlyFans girls a hard time, they say, bro, but we shouldn't be cancelling people for racist tweets 10 years ago. People change. People change their views. Like, why are we cancelling people for old tweets? And I thought that was quite interesting how we're quick to say, well, if a girl did OnlyFans 10 years ago, we say, no, she can't get hired. Look at the nudes on the internet. But we want to forgive people who have racist tweets 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting. I never thought of that perspective, to be honest.
I suppose it's how deeply you regard like the offense of what the person has done. Like, can they come back from the comment they made? Can this girl come back from the industry she was acting in or doing work in?
The example I think of
I'm
most...
struggling to defend this. That's actually a good point.
Exactly, yeah. Because the example I thought of most was the Kevin Hart thing. I was pro Kevin Hart. I was like, this is stupid. Like, they were homophobic tweets, but it was years ago. Times changed. The world's changed. So obviously he's adapted to the times, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But then I was also one of those people saying, no, these OnlyFans girls, they're not like, why would you do that? You ruin your chances of being in a good career. But at the same time, if a girl did it 10 years ago to get money, and who's to say she hasn't changed? She's not that same person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've actually seen a couple of girls recently who are now big in the social media game. Your Katie Sigmund's and them. She stopped doing OnlyFans. And it's so interesting to watch her when they ask her, why did you stop? I was like, I wasn't enjoying it anymore. But I feel like you can tell I can almost see it's like not even sincere what she's saying. I think she was also just running up a bag. And then once she had a bag, she got out. I think she used it as like a cash cow, and now she's doing something that she actually wants to do.
But I think it's scary what people will do, like, just to get money, but what people are willing to pay to get girls naked on their phones. Like,
just go outside.
It's crazy.
Actually, no, you don't just see naked girls outside. That's wrong. Go talk to a girl. It's way more interesting.
Yeah, but go out into the world, man. Like, and this is why I agree. What pornography and OnlyFans is doing is, it's making men less ambitious and less motivated to go and desire a girl, because they're like, no, but I've got everything here on my phone, and there's less motivation to go out into the world, experience things.
Yeah, but also from a more, like, just from a discipline point of view, I feel like if you're watching that kind of stuff on your phone, you're watching porn, you're watching OnlyFans girls, other areas of your life fall off a cliff. Like
Mm.
you struggle to stay focused in your work. You probably struggle with like even the simplest things are like eating. What's the point of being disciplined if you can't even keep yourself off your phone and like watching naked girls on your screen? There's for me, it's like when we spoke about this with Josh, it's the small things that add up. Like you, even and like we said, even you hitting snooze on your alarm clock, the alarm clock in the morning instead of getting up when you said you were going to get up. Those things add up, and I think things like watching porn and looking at OnlyFans girls, those are like way worse than hitting snooze on your phone in the morning. You break trust with yourself, in the sense that you can't like hold to your values in a way that you can't hold to your values of like disciplining yourself to not watch stuff that you shouldn't be watching. Like everyone knows they shouldn't be watching porn, but they still do it.
Exactly, and that means it's a lack of there's this lack of self-control.
Yeah.
And when you have a lack of self-control, I think it impacts your confidence.
Yeah.
You're breaking the promise to yourself, and so you feel weak, or you feel a bit less.
Yeah.
Because you can't control your urges.
Yeah. There was a circle that I watched the video on. I think it was by Bedros Koulian. It's a 3-part circle, but I only remember 2 parts. I can't remember what the first prong of the circle was, but it's competence then leads to confidence. So you have to build the competence in a practice to have confidence. You can't just, like you said in the previous episode, you can't fake confidence. Confidence is innate. It's within you because you know you can perform the task to a sufficient manner, like that will get the job done. So like this is kind of a problem I had with like, do you remember those old YouTube channels where they would be like, use this line on this girl when you approach it, like say,
oh yeah.
like,
well, you still get those channels where they're trying to give
I think
advice.
that's such bad advice, dude. Like I get why they exist. Like it's kind of like almost
What's
like
bad advice?
them just going up to those girls and using like this pickup, like I said this pickup line to this girl and it works. Like say this when you go to a girl. That's so dumb, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's inauthentic. Like it's kind of it's a script that gets you so far, but then once that's done, then what? Like you kind of run out of things to say. And it doesn't just apply to you approaching girls, it goes to you approaching everyone. That's also why I don't like sales scripts as much, so much, because it's the same thing. Like if he goes off the script you've been taught to sell him something,
right,
then what? Like you're screwed. you can't all you can do is kind of scratch to try and get back to that sales script.
right.
You can't handle the authentic conversation. And that's why I find in sales and talking to people and talking to anyone, it's best to, what I like to do, right? What I like to do is I pick something in the environment, or I pick something about them that stands out for me.
Right.
And I just say like, yo, that like swimming instructor that he's doing like this and this, he's like looking a bit weird, eh? And then you try and you just say, and then you say they either disagree with you or they agree with you. And then you say, okay, well, why do you think that? Bang, start the conversation started.
Right.
So that's the easiest way I find to start a conversation with them, is pick something about the environment around them, or pick something specifically about them that you find interesting.
I like the environment one because it's a shared experience. You're both there seeing it. It's like, what's your perspective on it? What's my perspective? I like that. Because then you're asking, it's good to ask them, what is your perspective?
Yeah.
Because most people, like I said, people don't get asked questions. So when they hear, oh, you're taking interest on how I see it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's the easiest way to break the ice for me.
Yes.
And it's even better when you pick something about the environment that's funny, because people automatically relax when they're laughing.
Right.
It's harder to relax when you go say like, yo, look at that dead bird on the street. No one's gonna relax at like, whoa, what? That's weird. But when you say, you point out something funny, or you make like, you start off with a joke, it instantly breaks that rapport that you have with the person. I find that always works for me when I'm approaching someone I don't know.
I think I was watching something where they were saying comedy and the ability to make someone laugh is the easiest way to make someone comfortable. Easiest way. And
your guard is down when you're laughing. Your guard is down when you're laughing.
Exactly.
It's a very like natural process. It's something you can't control.
It's also quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you can't control how you laugh. You just express. And so you open yourself up to that. And so that's why a lot of people, I notice people like hold their laughs in, like, because they don't want to expose their real laugh because it's vulnerable. But that's why I think these comedian guys, when they walk into a room, they control the room. They control the atmosphere, because that ability to make someone laugh in a relatable way is so calming. It's so like, oh, this guy's my friend.
There's a
almost.
reason the biggest comics in the world can fill stadiums and
Oh
like
yeah.
can fill theaters, because it's like, that's for me. What's better than that? Like just going to a show where you know you're gonna have the best time. You're gonna go laugh at all these jokes.
And what's cool about comedy is it's so subjective.
Yeah.
Like like you may think, nah, I'm not that funny. You'll find someone that likes your humor,
Yeah.
and you can probably fill, maybe not a stadium, but you can fill a big room with people that like your comedy,
Yeah.
which is quite interesting.
Yeah. That's another thing you said now. Like the comedy is subjective. Like, and your personalities, like some people's personalities are naturally abrasive
Mm,
to others, but then sometimes you just find people that click. You might like not like someone, and you'll find someone 5 meters away from you that loves that person.
right.
And I think that's so interesting, because you often get, I've spoken to guys before, they were like, when they're in a bit of a rut, they kind of say, oh, no one likes me. No,
Mm.
I'm never going to find the girl for me. I'm never going to find like a good friend that I can stick it out with. And I was like, just wait. Like there's always, no matter how like hard you, or how much you think that is true,
Mm.
it's usually not the case. There's always a person that you'll find, you'll click with. You just haven't found them yet.
Well, speaking about finding people, to go back to the porn thing, the pornography thing, what it's doing to motivation. I think there's, if I think of it in a biological way, I think men are driven to achieve their goals, to achieve tasks and become more competent, because naturally that is what then will attract a female, right? If I think of it in a pure biological sense. So what pornography is doing is guys are not motivated to achieve their goals anymore. So it goes all the way to every aspect of their life. They're not going to want to write a long essay, or get their degree, or push hard in their job, because they don't have that need for dopamine, because they're getting that huge hit from pornography, and it's almost the same hit that you're getting from talking to a girl or having sex with a girl. So I think pornography is a huge problem, not just for your sex life, but for your whole life, every aspect.
Yeah. It's the same thing with kind of like spending, when you have those days you probably feel like a bit of a zombie.
Yeah.
It's like zoned out. I dare you to check your screen time on that day.
Right.
You often find it's because you spend 5-6 hours scrolling through either TikTok or Instagram. It sucks the life out of you. That's what I noticed when I was going through that rut about 2 weeks ago. It was my screen time. It was just, even though you like enjoying it in the moment, I think that I'm relaxing to this. What it actually is doing is sucking the energy out of you for later in the day. And you're going to find that you're going to be more tired, more drained, harder. It's going to be way harder to focus on anything, because how are you supposed to now go sit and do 2 hours of productive work when you've been having instant like dopamine hits with every scroll, and like you're getting into that rhythm of like, okay, every 2 seconds I'm going to get another hit. Now you must go focus where there is no instant dopamine hits like that at all. It's going to be impossible to focus on the task for longer than I give you like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You might get into a bit of a flow.
Your attention span goes away completely. I'll be honest, in the past 2 weeks now, I was in a bit of a rut as well. Like struggling to be, like I was just not motivated to do anything. And it's like, so I felt almost like an imposter, like a hypocrite, bro. Like I come on this podcast and I preach motivation and I preach this discipline. And I felt like such a fraud. Like I was like, I'm not even motivated to, remember I was talking about football is my why and my motivation, right? I had no energy. It felt like I was so tired and I hadn't done anything.
It's your star sign.
But I was, that is a horrible thing to interrupt me with. Star sign. No, but like, and then I was on social media, bro, and I'm on social media for hours, and I'm just scrolling, endless scrolling, and it was almost like I attached my identity to my actions. So I was saying, wow, I'm being lazy right now. I'm a lazy person.
Okay.
I'm a lazy person. And then you sit with that, and then you almost embrace it. And then it screwed up my whole week. I treated my Monday was bad, and I wrote off the whole week.
Yeah.
And I was and I got like slightly, like, you're not obviously fully depressed, but you're sad, man.
Yeah.
You're like you're you're like, why can't I be motivated to do anything? It's almost hard to understand.
Yeah, but like I said to you in previous weeks, it's the same with me in a way. It's like life is never just amazingly high all the time or
Right.
like super low all the time. It's like a frequency,
Mm.
and you're gonna be in the middle most times, but you're gonna have super highs and super lows, and you got to not let them get you like carried away.
Mm.
You got to understand that it's life is cyclical like that, in that there'll be highs and lows all the time, and you just got to ride them out because you know your medium kind of mood is going to be somewhere in the middle, and you got to kind of accept those things. But also, you also, I remember in the past really struggled with procrastination.
Yeah.
You kind of, that was the rut you were in. It was a lot more common for you. I remember you telling me this. And what you'll find is your body will naturally fight to go to that state of comfort when you try to push yourself to a new level.
Right.
And it happens to me. It happens to everyone. I've listened to guys like, not like Goggins, because Goggins is a freak, but people like Goggins.
I'm sure he had a stage, but
Yeah.
he's pushed through it now.
When you generally try and take yourself up a level, you'll find your body will naturally try to bring you down to that comfort state again. And it'll seem like in the moment you'll make excuses for yourself, be like, no, but I can relax a bit today. I can take my foot off the gas a bit this week. And you got to fight that as hard as you can, because that is your body literally trying to take you back to exactly where you were, and you'll make no progress. You got to fight that urge to go back to where you were. So you catching yourself and calling it a rut is progress, because previously you just been like, that's the norm.
Right.
That's how I normally am. There is no problem with this. So if you catching yourself like that is progress in itself. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. The fact that you're acknowledging that you are in a rut is progress already. Imagine you just accepted it like, this is the normal.
And you see, but that's why it's so interesting that I went through the stage, because it all started with the module I'm doing, and it's called self-esteem and motivation, and it's an online module, so all the work is basically up to you. Like you get out what you put in. And because I was not being disciplined enough in that module, it's just ironic that now I started doing the readings in that module, and I could relate so much to the content. The content was actually talking about my exact predicament. And it talks about the self-critic, the voice inside your head. And it was just crazy how I could relate to this one example they used, where your self-critic tells you, hey, you've had a long day, man. Sit down, have another glass of wine, you're fine. Just chill, man.
But then self-critic, wouldn't they be critical of you? Like, isn't it a bad thing?
No, yeah, it is. So
Okay.
so your self-critic will say, yeah, to have another glass of wine, chill, bro, relax. You had a long day. Then you do it. You
And then
add
like,
that
why
extra
are you
glass,
having another
and
glass?
then it's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you having another glass? Like, oh, you are alcoholic. And I could relate so much, bro. I could relate so much, because there's like you say, your body and your head is like telling you, bro, you're tired. Relax. But then when I relax, I guilt trip myself for relaxing, and that's the self-critic, and it
literally
to
sets
control.
you up for failure and then critiques you when you fail.
Legit.
I didn't know there was two sides of the voice inside your head like that. I thought it was you yourself saying take a break now,
Right.
and then the self-critic was the guy who came in and
Right. Well, it could be. I don't know, but it was an example that I saw.
multiple
in a
personality
video.
disorder, right? Starting to talk about different voices inside my head.
Different Matthew come in front of the bus now.
Come to the front, Matthew number 2.
But in learning about the cognitive distortions, that's what it is. So a lot of these things that we tell ourselves, these things that guilt trip ourselves, they irrational thoughts. And the one that I related to a lot was the magnifying and minimizing. So I tend to magnify the times where I'm not achieving my goals, and I minimize the times when I am achieving my goals.
Yeah.
And what I also do is I start to identify, like I told you, I identify with my actions.
When you maximize and you say you maximize your failures, right? And you start
Right.
and you find it easier to identify with your failures because you're maximizing, you're blowing them out of proportion.
Exactly.
I think I do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have those cognitive distortions. But
it's so weird. We spoke about this with Josh. Why is it so hard to recognize when you're doing well? Like, why? It blows my mind. Like we say, we set these goals for 3 weeks time, and then in 3 weeks time we blow those goals out the water. And then it's so hard to acknowledge that you actually did well. But it's so easy to say, well, you came just short in this, you're slipping, stop letting it slip.
Right. It's making me wish I did more readings on the self-critic, because I think there is a section there where they talk about the reason for it, why we have the self-critic. I should probably go do those readings and then come back and explain. But yeah, it's hard to understand. I think it might be our innate ability to or desire to want to keep improving, so we're harsh on ourselves.
Yeah.
Um,
It makes me think that not everyone has that kind of self-critic. Like if you have no ambition at all, would you have the self-critic? You could get away with sitting in front of your TV all day and do nothing, and that'd be okay for you if you had no ambition. But I feel like humans are naturally ambitious. Everyone wants to achieve something. It's within us to have a purpose.
So your self-concept, your self-concept is, it's your self, it's the self. It's every aspect of the self, right? So your self-concept is made up of your self-esteem, your ideal self, and your self-image. Your self-image is how people perceive you and how you think people perceive you. Your self-esteem is how you perceive yourself and value yourself. And then your ideal self is the goal, the goal, the person you aiming to be. And so I think trying to balance all three of them is the key. Because I think what happens with us, and I think we can both relate to this, is we have such a high ideal self. And when we don't get closer get closer towards that ideal self, our self-esteem takes a hit.
Yeah.
And we talk badly about ourselves. We don't value ourselves as well. We may maintain our self-image. We may still think, oh no, but people on the outside. But when we think about what we think about ourselves, our self-esteem maybe takes a hit. I don't know if you could relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's this whole thing about manifestation, which I understand the concept to an extent, but I disagree with the way it's described on most platforms. But I think the way I believe you should manifest your true self is to have this vision of who you want to be and act like them every day. Because in doing so, it just makes sense that you'll become that person. If you imagine yourself making 6 figures a year, driving this car, living in this house, living in this area, having this family, having achieved these things, and you act like that person every day, it makes sense that you're going to become that kind of person. Because
sure.
it's like playing a role in a play. It's like your storyline is already written. You just have to meet the acts.
Right.
That's how I view manifestation in a way. It's like manifesting is just act like the person you want to be. But I get it. It gets a bit far-fetched for me when they say like, you need to vibrate at this frequency, man. Listen to like 444 hertz. This is the frequency of like this is the frequency of money. Like listen to this hertz. Study to this frequency because it makes you remember more things. That's when like manifestation, all that thing gets a bit like it gets a bit like star signs to me.
That's a bit interesting.
Manifestation for me is pure. It's plain and simple. It's like act like the person you want to be, and you will become that person, and you will attract the things you want into your life. That is manifestation for me. There's these hippies that on the internet that get like all weird. I just, that's when I turn off the screen, like shut up.
The thing is, it's very much easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like what from me as a Christian perspective, my ideal self, or it's like Jesus is the example, right? That's the ultimate good. You want to achieve the ultimate good, but because we're human beings, right? So we're never gonna be completely our ideal self. We're gonna make mistakes, and the problem I think that I have is you have this ideal self and you're trying to live by it every day, but when you make slips and when you feel tired or not motivated to keep that standard, that's when you're just so harsh on yourself.
It's a difficult balance to strike between those three things you said: your self-image, your self-esteem.
Sorry?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
No worries. But this actually aligns nicely with what I was talking about with you this week, the Ikigai, and finding your true purpose, so that you can have these kind of things be aligned with who you are more. So trying to align your self-image, your self-esteem, and your, what was the third one? Ideal self. Aligning those three things is so much easier when you clarify your Ikigai. And
Okay.
I don't know if you have your phone near you. If you can just search the actual meaning of
Ikigai.
Ikigai, like it breaks it down word by word. But to find your Ikigai, and I think this is really important for people to ask. These are 4 really important questions to ask yourself. Your Ikigai is basically your purpose, finding your purpose in life, finding the thing you should be doing. It's a purpose that you could be doing for the rest of your life. It's something you want to do and can do for the
Okay.
rest of your life.
I have a description here.
Mm.
Ikigai is a Japanese concept referring to something that gives a person a sense of purpose, a reason for living.
Yeah, Ikigai, and I think if you break it down, it's Iki has one word and it has one meaning, and then
There's a very cool image here.
it's the
like
4 circles.
All the circles.
I have the
yes.
4 circles.
Okay.
So to find your Ikigai, you have to ask yourself, what do I enjoy? So
Yeah.
your passion. What am I good at? So
Yeah.
that's pretty obvious, your skills. What can I get paid for? And then what does the world need? And in the confluence of those 4 questions, you will find your life purpose, your Ikigai.
Life purpose, yeah.
What makes your life worth living, I guess. If you do that every day, and I feel like you'll never waste a day in your life. You're finding your Ikigai. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about that. And I'm also listening to an audiobook about the Ikigai at the moment. And they do this research about this city in Japan called Okinawa, where they have the highest concentration of centenarians in the world, the most people that have lived over 100. And the one commonality they found between people, or a couple of commonalities, was diet. They have this thing where they only eat till they're 80% full. They never overeat. And the science behind that is that your digestive tract has to do less work, so it puts less strain in your body. That makes sense to me. Like you're putting more stress in your body, you're gonna shorten your lifespan. It just makes sense.
This is why people say people overeat all the time.
Yeah.
Especially in this like gluttony society, we've got so much.
They said in that city the average caloric intake during the day was about 1,800 to 1,900, whereas in the US it's 2,300 to 3,000. So you're eating like an extra 400 calories a day. And they have smaller meal portions, so it's easy. It's not like one massive meal at a time. It's small. They break it up during the day, so it just helps that kind of flow. Right. The second thing that they found in the city was a strong sense of community. It wasn't, I'm doing this for myself. I'm just like, I'm going to go plow the rice fields today because everybody needs rice. Everybody needs to eat. It's working together to achieve a goal. And the third thing was the Ikigai. And this guy was talking about how Japanese people often, they don't retire. I don't think the word retire doesn't exist in the Japanese language. It literally, they don't retire.
Right.
And it's because they have this Ikigai. It's a purpose that they can do every day and they want to do for the rest of their life. They will work until they die working on this Ikigai. There's a lady that's been working in elevator, I think, in Japan since like 2007, I think it was. And then they asked her, like, why are you doing this job? It's such a crap job in their opinion. And she's like, but it's her Ikigai. She was put on this earth to greet people into the elevator and take them up the floors. And apparently it's not just pressing buttons. It's not like a monotonous kind of welcome to the elevator, what floor. It's like she does a whole like singing thing for them. She presses she just loves what she does, and it's her purpose to run this elevator. That's what she does. She loves running the elevator.
Right. But that's the amazing thing about collectivist societies. And I think it's something, I mean, obviously there's pros and cons to individualistic and collectivist societies, but what I love about collectivist societies is there's no existential crisis about like, what do I mean to the world? Like when in individualistic societies, because naturally we're on our own individuals, now we're trying to think, what is my purpose? And it's all about there's a lot of ego driven. It's a lot about like, what am I gonna do? How can I show myself to the world? And so you go through that process, and it can lead to like depression and anxiety because you don't know your future, you don't know what's gonna happen. But with a collectivist society, you're born with a purpose instantly, especially in African cultures. It's like you are born and your purpose is laid out for you. You're meant to do this for the community. You're meant to do this for your brothers and sisters, and that's your life. Yeah. And sure, the negatives are that in some of these collectivist societies, they don't get to choose.
Yeah,
it's like you're born and this is what you were born for, and that's good because it can give them a purpose straight away, and there's no existential worrying and stuff. But the nice thing about individualistic societies is you get to find out,
Yeah.
how do I want to impact the world.
Yeah.
So
But I think people in the individualistic societies lose their minds trying to figure that out.
exactly,
And that's why I
the
think it's
problem.
so important. And I'm so happy I found this concept this week is
Mm.
of the Ikigai. It's like, it's even if you can't answer those 4 questions straight away, the fact that you're thinking about it, I feel like something will come to you.
Right.
Your Ikigai will kind of pop in your head one day. It's like,
Right.
I'm meant to mow the lawn every day. Like
Right.
it's just gonna come to you, because I think the subconscious works like that. Have you ever been like writing a test and you know this answer? It's like it's on.
Yeah.
You say people say that answer's on the tip of my tongue, and you
Yeah.
can't get it in the test. And like an hour or two later,
Pops.
bang, the answer's there.
Right.
That I think that's your subconscious working on it. Like it's almost like an open tab in the background. It kind of just works. And so I think it's important for people to maybe ask themselves those questions and just have it as a tab running in the back of your mind. Because I think it'll
spark the thought.
Yeah, the author of the book that wrote about Ikigai, the audiobook I'm listening to, he said that's exactly what you must do. He said even if you can't come with the answer straight away, just the fact that you think about it and you are aware of it is already like the first step.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just having
The
that
thoughts
kind of
will come. Because naturally, like you say, it's like a tab running in the back, searching for something.
Yeah, it's also like you're probably gonna look for it in areas that you wouldn't have looked at all before.
Exactly.
It's like when you get a blue car or you get like a certain type of, I don't know, Hyundai, you suddenly see, wow, there's so many Hyundais on the road today.
Right.
But in actual fact, there's the same amount of cars on the road. It's
purely because your
aware of
conscious
it.
has taken notice of it, right?
exactly the same thing with the Ikigai concept.
I love this Ikigai concept, and to delve deeper into the what does the world need, I think you can go very deep philosophically there, and I think that's where I think about that a lot. Where I thought about that a lot before I picked my career, because it's like Jordan Peterson always. I'm going to mention him again. Jordan Peterson always talks about why wouldn't you want to strive for the ultimate good, your full potential of good that you can offer the world. And so that's why I always think like, I don't like to think small. I like to think a goal that transcends everything. It transcends my personal wants. It transcends a financial threshold.
Yeah.
And that's why I love that you say these Japanese people, they don't retire and that's the same mindset I have. It's like, once you have that goal, that purpose, you don't want to retire. It's your lifetime goal. And it's something that gives you fulfillment till the day you die.
Yeah.
And that's the long-term happiness that I think people want.
It's crazy that I found this concept 2 or 3 weeks after speaking to Stacey, because she literally described her Ikigai to us.
Yes.
And we didn't even clock that it was that. We were just like that. What she said made sense. And now there's literally a concept studying why it makes sense.
Right. I just think the long-term benefits are so great. And that's why, like I say before, when people aim for, it doesn't even have to be a financial threshold. It's like, my goal is to get this job title. It's like, okay, now you got there. Now what? What's the next step? I want to be the best at this. And then you become the best. And it's like, okay, I'm the best now. Where do I go from here? That's why your goal can't be like ego driven. Be the best. Get the job title. Get the financial threshold. Yeah. It's got to transcend you. It's got to be something that gives back to the community.
Do you think that's maybe why top sportsmen like Michael Jordan and them maybe lose their minds a bit when they retire?
Bro, boxers, it happens to boxers all the time. Mike Tyson talks about it. That's why he started doing podcasting, because he finished his career. When you're in fighting, especially fighting, that is your be all and end all. It's like, I wake up every day, this is what's on my mind.
Yo, like Josh said, if you don't train every day, you basically asking yourself to get hit in the face.
Exactly.
So you got to train.
So when these guys get to the top, they are obsessed. That's all they do. It's all they think about.
Probably
so it's
bobbing
hard.
and weaving in the shower.
Legit, bro. Probably moving around. But what happens is when they get to the top and then they retire, huge existential crisis. Huge existential crisis. Because it's like, whoa. My whole life was leading up to this and it's gone now.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. And I think that's why you see sportsmen like Ronaldo, who probably should retire, but they're not.
The people holding on to the past.
But I used to think like, you bring an idiot, you should just retire, just stop playing. But then you think about, put yourself in their shoes, right? You've been playing the sport every day for your entire life. You've been playing at the top level. You almost begin to like crave the pressure of that kind of performance and then performing that level. And then to tell yourself, I'm done. I'm just gonna stop. I'd lose my mind.
Right.
If I was in that position, because how are you supposed to? It's like a drug. It's like, how are you supposed to just?
Exactly.
It's like shooting heroin every day.
Exactly.
Not quite as extreme as that, but like.
No,
you just stop.
It's a rush. It's a rush that you get. That's why, if you look at Conor McGregor now, bro, he's obviously doing cocaine. He's obviously he looks like a cocaine head when you see him in these videos. When you see what he's doing with his life right now. And previous fighters have spoken about this. That high that you get from being in an arena, winning a fight. You saw how happy Adesanya was when he won that fight. He said that it's a high that you can't even explain, right? Now, when you retire, you look for it in other places now. Because I can't get it from my
fighting. But
nothing
can match that.
Exactly. And that's why they go towards these extreme drugs like the cocaine, the MDs, and all this stuff.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It does.
Right.
I'm just trying to relate, like winning a sports match. But it's been like it's been a grind just like for them it was a grind to get to the top. Like when you really fight for a win and you get it, that feeling afterwards, you feel untouchable. Like
exactly,
no one can talk to you. You're floating on air. Sometimes you can't even like process what's going on around you. You're just in the moment.
And that is what they get addicted to.
Yeah,
and that's why it leads to other drugs. And again, that's why you gotta have something. And again, like there's nothing wrong with going through. People, it's bound to happen to go through an existential crisis, a midlife crisis, where you have to reassess your whole life. But, that's why I prefer to be wise now and be self-aware now and find the purpose that can sustain you throughout your life.
A never-ending purpose.
Exactly.
Purpose that I think there's a purpose that transcends you.
Exactly.
It is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I was also thinking about it this week. Like, I think it's also silly to tie your colors to one purpose, like, and that's dead set in cement. Your purpose transcends itself constantly.
Yes.
There's always, your purpose can change. That doesn't say, if you say my purpose in life is to go plow a field every day, that purpose can transcend itself. It doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to plow rice for the rest of my life. You can then, maybe one day you want to plow, like, this is such a stupid example, but like, next day you want to plow like millies or something. You can level up the purpose. There's levels to your purpose, and you'll find that your purpose will transcend to the next level, to the next level, to the next level as you progress along the path to achieving that purpose.
It's like, if we use Jordan Peterson as an example, right? His goal was probably just to be a clinician, do his private practice work, and then be a educator at a college. But now his purpose is transcend. He's not just an educator at a university now. He's not just a clinician. He's an influence and a figure for the whole world. Yeah, which is an awesome purpose, and it's a lot of responsibility, and it's difficult, and he's gonna make mistakes, and he has made mistakes. Yeah. But you wanna encourage taking on that responsibility.
I think people underestimate how much they can do when they really apply themselves to something for even 1 or 2 years. What was impossible in the beginning becomes run-of-the-mill stuff. And I think that's what helps you transcend your purpose as well. It's just the fact that you become so good at something, the things that you used to struggle on become easy. And that's when you can start transcending your purpose, because like
you find new challenges.
You can find ways to become more and more intricate in the way you handle your purpose and how you can improve yourself in achieving that purpose. And I think that's once you have that, you kind of have an overall idea. I saw someone say a cool thing is like, your purpose shouldn't be like a roadmap where you're going to stop at this destination, this destination, this destination. It should rather have it should be more like a compass. You kind of have a direction you're going in, and you just try and always head in that direction.
Facts.
And then
facts. That's a good explanation.
Yeah. So I think that's how you naturally transcend your purpose. And then there's also a cool Stoic quote. It's like, the obstacle is the way. So don't say, I'm going to achieve this, and then I'm going to buy this car, and I'm going to buy that car, and then I'm going to do this. Or in business, and it's like, I'm going to achieve this in my business, and then the next step is to scale to this level, and then it's to hire this person. It's never going to work like that. It's always going to be, okay, I'm going to aim for this. Crap. this stopped working.
Right.
Let me work on that. Then what you'll find is naturally the next step unfolds from solving that problem, because in solving that problem, you'll realize, okay, there's a better way
Right.
to move about this.
Right. And that's why people shouldn't be trying to live a life void of challenge. Challenge is what sustains you in life. Really. Like, people want to have an easy life. Why would you want an easy life? There's no that easy lives are how you get depressed.
Yeah, and
genuinely.
And most people's idea of an easy life is like, what is watching Netflix every day?
Like, you got a house where you can sit around and retire and watch TV all day. Does that sound easy? That sounds easy. Doesn't sound fulfilling at all.
even like it doesn't even have to be involved with like watching TV or being a friend. Imagine you just had a house and you just chilled on the beach every day. Even that can get like boring in a way. I don't care if it's the most beautiful beach in the world. If you just have a house there and you're chilling on the beach, it's like, it's the same thing every day.
We naturally want challenge. That's why you get these like old people get depressed, right? You think, oh, you guys must be so happy. House on the beach, retirement home.
You have so much time to yourselves now.
Time. Bro, they're miserable because they don't know what to do with their time. And it's like, that's why they want their youth back, because they're like, oh, I could take on more challenges. But I think that's a mindset that elderly people need to change. Like, find a challenge you can do and go for it.
Yeah. I think that was another thing that they brought up in this Ikigai concept. I was listening to the podcast of the guy who wrote the book. Sounds exactly like Carlos Sainz, by the way. It was quite funny. I was like, did Carlos Sainz write a book? What's going on here?
Smooth operator.
But he said that what they find statistically is that people, once they retire, their chances of dying within 2 years of retirement astronomically increases.
Wow.
Because they lose that purpose, the thing that they've been doing.
Drive. You lose the drive to survive.
Yeah. Smooth operator.
But yeah, you lose that will to live. And that's life, man. That's what sustains you.
Yeah.
The want to be alive, the want to keep doing things.
Yeah.
And then this other topic that, we didn't get into in Josh's podcast, but I think we can get into it now. The idea of seeing someone just for their talent, right? So we got the GOAT right here.
I hope it's in frame.
Lionel Messi, I really hope it's in frame. The absolute GOAT. Argentina's GOAT. People look at him and think he's so talented. Like, the narrative, especially with him and Ronaldo, is Messi's the one who's talented, Ronaldo's the one who's all hard work. So kids shouldn't look at Messi, they should look at Ronaldo, because it's hard work that got him where he needs to be. And I think that's absolute BS. Like, do you think you become the best ever just through talent? Absolutely not. The thing that people don't understand is, I read Messi's book, and his brothers say every Christmas, every birthday.
Messi has brothers.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's got brothers. He's got a big family. Every birthday, Messi asked, can I get a football? That's all he wanted. Because all he did every day when he woke up, when he was outside, he was playing football. Now, if you think about what we were asking for, like clothes, video games, right? All these things, sure, we got good at them because we spent a lot of time. But they were all distractions. Messi, all he cared about, discipline. And it's discipline. Every single day he's playing football. And look at that. And he had talent for sure. But he didn't waste his talent. So many people have talent. And they play video games. They waste their time doing other things. When, bro, you have the talent. You should be working on that craft every day.
I almost want to ask, I wish I could have Messi sitting here right now.
Same.
And he doesn't even have to have a mic. He can just sit there.
That would be a dream.
Give him some coffee or something.
My goodness.
Just sit there, Messi.
I'd cry.
I wish I could go and ask him, was the goal always to play at top level? Or was the goal just always every day, I just want to play football because I love football? Right. What was the purpose?
Right.
Like, what was the ambition? Where was the drive? And like you say, with the Ikigai kind of thing, you can't have a purpose that has like a termination date. Like Messi couldn't have gone, well, I'm playing in La Liga now. Done.
Right.
Box checked. Like,
right.
that's when I think those kind of people, the people that truly become great at it, it's they purely just love football. They wanna, their purpose every day is like just to get better at football.
At
It's
their
not
craft.
to my purpose is to play for Real Madrid and earn
No.
$350,000 a month or something like that. It's I just want to get better at football.
That's what's amazing about Messi and Ronaldo. You know, they hit these goals, right? Playing for Madrid, playing for Barca, earning millions, getting sponsor deals. But their level of performance every single year, it was increasing. It's incredible. It's incredible what they did. And that's how you know their drive was purely just, how do I get better at my craft?
Yeah.
Every single day.
But I think that that's this kind of work ethic and what they did applies across every single area of life. So you don't have to be wanting to be a footballer to have Messi as an idol. You can be a banker and have Messi as an idol, because it's the same thing. It's like if you want to be the best banker, just like Messi is the best footballer, you just have to go in every day and say, how can I get better at my job?
Yep.
What can I do today to take me one step further? Kobe Bryant talks about it every day. He's like,
The Mamba mentality.
yeah, it's like 1%. Just if you can say, I was 1% better every day. That shit adds up, dude. Like that means you're 365% better by the end of the year. That's astronomical growth, and it won't be just 365% because it'll be exponential. Because those skills you culminate, just like I said with your purpose transcending itself.
Yeah.
Those skills that you used to find, they will become easy. So the growth becomes exponential. So you probably find you're not 365% better at banking or football at the end of the day. You're like 1,000% better. I like that's for me. It's just it's the way to do things, and I think that's what people struggle with. It's like it's figuring out, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to become 1,000% better at in the next year? And I think that's when people get distracted. It's like, well, they don't look to what they want to become better at. It's like they look at the things they can achieve when they become better at the things. So it's, well, I want to earn this much money by the end of the year.
Well, for people that are struggling to find a purpose, to find meaning, some of the things you can ask yourself, it's good self-awareness, mindfulness questions to ask yourself. The one that really helped me was, who are your idols? Who are the people you look up to? And then ask yourself, what is it about them that you like so much? And then take that and try and incorporate that into your life. And take it and even transcend it into your career. So for my example, picking psychology, service to others, right? It came from me looking at my idols, which were, it's very odd to say, put these two together, Batman and Jesus. Those were my two idols, and I looked at them and I asked myself, what is it about them that I admire so much? For both of them, the common theme was the sacrifice for others, putting their personal desires on the line for other people. And I admire that so much. And that's what led me down the path of psychology, service to others. It's a goal that transcends my personal wants. Because before I chose psychology, I was doing I was in the acting industry, right? And I did it. Acting, it's all about me. It's all about me, my perception. How is my image? Am I good at better than these people? I'm comparing myself to other actors all the time. Oh, he's better looking than me, so he's gonna get the role. And it's toxic. And that's why these actors get into these depressive states, because it's comparing yourself constantly and not feeling good enough. And so when I did that, and I thought, wow, it's very ego driven. And that's when I was like, no, I need to have a purpose that's transcending my ego. And that's why I think, guys, a good question. Ask yourself who your idols are, and then what is it about them, and then take that, incorporate it into your decision making.
Yeah. And I think on the flip side of that, if finding out what you don't want to be, Jordan Peterson spoke about this as well. He said, do you have those moments where you go back in life and you think, you get like a bit of like, oh, why did I do that? He said, pay attention to those things, because those often tell you the parts of yourself you don't like, because that's why they stick with you. So I don't know, maybe for some people it's like when they went up in class and they said something stupid in an oral. Deep those experiences, and why do they keep coming up for you? Because those are probably the things you don't like about yourself.
And you did something mean to someone. Or
you
did something.
Things that replay in your head constantly. Pay attention to those things, because those are the things that, like, they're just trying to. It's your brain trying to send you a message like, cut that out. Can't be doing that.
That's really what your memory is built for. It's to show you instances where you were maybe in trouble or didn't enjoy it and uncomfortable. And then it's the reason that memory is still there. It's to remind you this is how you deal with that situation next time.
Mhm.
This is how you have this memory now, so you know when you see it again, how do I attack this problem? That's really what your memory is built for. How long are we going there?
50.
50 minutes. Should I get into what I've learned from my...
I feel like we need more time for that, dude.
I mean, the last 10 minutes I can get...
You can get
going
do you want to put it in 10?
Yeah.
You can, okay?
So the reason the reason I wanted to bring this up, guys, I learned a lot from my first relationship, my first romantic relationship. And I think there's a lot of benefits that people can take from it. I have a whole list of things that I really learned from it. First of all, when I was with my girlfriend, she broke up with me, right? So immediately it's an ego hit, right? You think, damn, what is it about me? Is there something wrong with me? You ask yourself these questions because you're like, how could someone leave me, right? And it's hard to comprehend sometimes. Because your ego, you have a big ego, and your ego takes a big hit. But at the time when she broke up with me, I told myself, oh, I'm heartbroken. Oh, I was so in love, and now it's like, oh, my heart is broken now. How can I was so in love with her. Am I ever going to find someone like her again? And I think those, if I look back on it, those were irrational thoughts. I was telling myself that to cope with my ego taking the hit. So I was more like, oh, my heart's broken. Oh, the whole situation is just bad, to avoid saying, oh, it's just the ego. It's not really... So to better explain myself, I'm trying to say I don't think I was really in love with her so badly, which is why it hurt. I think it hurt more because of the ego.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So it was the fact that it didn't work out the way you wanted to that hurt you, rather than the fact that you lost this person.
Or let's not say it wasn't the fact that I lost her. That wasn't what was so painful. It was more trying to comprehend how someone cannot want to be with me.
Okay.
Because that's an ego thing. It's like, because you have this idea of yourself, like, but I'm a good person. Like, I offer a lot. Why would someone not want to be with me? Why wouldn't someone want to work through that? So what I'll say to people going through a breakup, a large percentage of it, I can guarantee you, it's not the girl, it's not I've lost this person in my life. It's that ego hit. Yeah. And you need to work through that. You need to sit with that and say, is there stuff I can work on myself? But don't get into a hole where you're so self-critical and you're blaming yourself, because that's what happened to me. I was like, whoa, what's wrong with me? Was I that bad of a boyfriend? And I started questioning everything about myself. But it's all irrational. It's all magnifying the negatives. Yeah. And it's like, oh, focus on the negatives. But then you ignore, like, you know what? It's not just me that, it's a relationship. It's a two-way street. Maybe there were also things on her end that were a problem. And I ignore those. And I just put all the blame on myself. So it's important. Don't be harsh on yourself after a breakup. You're not a bad person. Sometimes a relationship just doesn't work out. And you know what? You'll find someone that can appreciate you for what you offer. Yeah. And that's just how it goes. And then the other thing I think happened after the breakup was, it was like a elastic band bounce. Like you start to refocus, realign yourself with your goals, because that's all you can do. It's like, well, this part of my life is gone, but I realized that putting all my focus into that relationship was taking away my attention on my goals.
On yourself.
And it's like making, exactly, on myself. And it's like making my whole life that relationship. And you can't live like that.
I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
Did you in any way think I have to win the breakup at any stage? Do you understand what that is?
I get what you're saying. Yeah. It wasn't so much winning the breakup.
Like, I'm going to be in better shape than ever. I'm gonna achieve more goals than ever. I'm gonna do
Mm.
more than I've ever done before to show you.
Actually, you know what? If you put it in that way, yes, it is almost like a motivator. It's like, you don't believe in me. You don't
Yeah.
believe I can be this great person, achieve these goals. Well, I'm gonna show you.
I think this is gonna get me cancelled. This is an inherently male thing. We
Yeah.
are naturally competitive,
Mm.
and I think things like that, things like breakups, push you to be like, "Fuck you!
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
be so much better now.
Right.
There's no ways you're gonna beat me."
It's almost like your ego takes that hit, and then you wanna prove yourself wrong. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
And I don't think there's necessarily anything bad with that, to be honest.
I don't
Because you
think so. I think
literally,
it's a good
you
thing.
literally take yourself up to a new level that you've never been before. And then what you'll find is when you push yourself in those directions, you set new standards for yourself. It's impossible to
Yes.
go back to that.
Right.
Because it's like
Right.
you go so high, you can only go back so far down.
Yes.
You kind of you naturally set new standards for yourself. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
And it also reignited my purpose. It
Yeah.
reignited finding a motivator, a why. That's when I really fell in love with football again. It's like I lost that love and I fell in love with football again. And I was like, whoa, I'm really passionate about football again. I just want to be good at that. And that's all I care about right now. And it helps not ignore the emotional side of it, because it's important to process your emotions when you go through a breakup, improve emotionally. But
Or ignore them and get drunk every night.
that is the worst thing to do. but yeah, it makes you put all the attention on yourself again and realize there's more to life than having an outside relationship.
Yeah.
Your goals are also very important. And I feel like I got complacent, man. I got complacent in the relationship. I thought, I've got a goal now. Well, all these other goals there, I can slip up there.
Yeah, I think one of the, like you said earlier, it's the most dangerous thing is to get comfortable. Don't ever get comfortable.
Exactly.
When you stop pushing yourself, when you stop striving to be better, you immediately start falling behind because everyone else around you is moving ahead. The world doesn't stop moving when you stop moving. When you get comfortable, you naturally fall behind when you stop trying to improve.
And the other thing that I learned was, bro, boundaries are so important.
Yeah, it's difficult to set those.
It is.
And when do you set them? Because it's also like you digging yourself in there, because you say, this is what I want. This is how things are going to work for me if this is where we're going to be, if this is going to go further.
Yes.
But in setting those boundaries, first of all, you have to have balls, because like you have to say what's on your mind, and that's difficult sometimes. But it's also you entrenching yourself into the relationship, because you're saying like, I will be with you, but these are my limits. So it's like, it's also, you have to have the balls to say like, it's almost like saying we're going to be together, but you have to follow these things. So it's a two-way thing. It's kind of like setting your boundaries is already a nerve-wracking thing, but also it's almost like you committing to that person. You're saying, this will work, but follow this.
Yes. But I think when I did the emotional self-reflection, I think the reason it's so difficult, or the reason we're scared to set boundaries, is because we're scared of pushing that person away. We're scared of losing that attachment.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens is we start to sacrifice our boundaries in order to keep the attachment. So we let things slide because we don't want to upset them.
Yeah.
No, but we want to keep you around. We don't want to lose you because you're fearful of that loss. We fear the loss of the attachment. Yeah. So then what happens is, I spoke about this before, you have that balance between attachment and authenticity. So in order to keep the attachment, you start to sacrifice your key values, your standards, your boundaries, your authenticity. And you think in doing that, I'm going to keep the attachment. But what actually happens is the exact opposite. When a girl can see that she can push the boundaries, she can go over the boundaries and you can still treat them well, they're going to be like, well, there's no challenge in this relationship. There's no pushback. And I was watching Matthew, it's another Matt, and Matthew Hazy or something?
Yeah, Hussey or something.
Hussey.
Yeah.
He gave awesome relationship advice on how to sustain, and one of the big concepts was having challenge, having pushback.
Yeah.
You have to tell a girl, no matter how much you like her, no matter how much you want to keep her around, if she crosses a line, you need to be firm on that and say, oh, whoa, this is not going to work if you keep doing this.
Yeah.
And girls actually find that more attractive.
Yeah. But also, I think it's important to check yourself when you're setting those boundaries. Like, before you go and set those boundaries, maybe go to a friend that you know is going to be honest with you. Don't go to a yes man and say, yeah, that's a great boundary.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you go to someone that's going to be honest with you and check, like,
Is it realistic?
are these sensible boundaries to have for myself? Because if someone's going to be honest with you, they're going to say, like, don't use that. That's stupid. That's taking it too far.
Right.
There's a buzz in my ear at the moment. It's making me kind of nervous.
Bad buzz.
Not bad. Oh,
Okay.
Stop now when you hold the mic. Yeah, hold the mic.
Okay, I'm gonna hold the mic. Yeah. So people need to, and the reason people get scared, right, to set the boundary, why they're scared to lose the attachment, it means there's a lack of self-love. It means, and I can
They're afraid
relate
to
to
be
it a
alone.
lot. It's like I lacked a lot of self-esteem, self-love, and self-value. So it was nice having that attachment for someone to keep to show, oh, someone does love me. I feel love now. I feel appreciated. But it can't be external. It can't be external because you don't own people. This is what the Stoics say. You don't have any ownership on that partner. No, technically you don't own anything other than yourself. So when things leave your life, your whole self-esteem can't just crumble. That's why it needs to come within. You need to have that's why they tell you, learn to love yourself before you love others. Purely for that reason. Because then when you love yourself, you say, I don't mind setting these values, and I don't mind saying I'm going to break up if she crosses these boundaries, because you love yourself enough to know, no, I value myself. I value these boundaries. Do not cross them.
And you know without them, you'll still be okay.
Exactly. If I lose this attachment, it's fine. I love myself. I know I'm on the right track. It's fine. I'll find someone else.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's important for people to sometimes, even if it's like a week or so, just spend a week by yourself. Like, not isolate, like go out and live a normal life, but just spend a week with yourself and see, can I get through this? Can I spend a week without seeing my friends, without seeing my family or something, and just see, can I chill with myself? I think that's really important. I got forced to do that at the beginning of this year. And it's like that kind of, it's almost meditative in a way. It's sort of, you figure out a lot of things about yourself, and you also figure out how much you need people by the end of the week as well. But also, you also learn, like, when in being with yourself, you realize what you value about yourself, and you learn to spend time with yourself, and that's super important. I think people that can't be alone need to learn to be alone. Being alone is like a superpower.
Agreed. When my self-esteem was the lowest, my aunt, who's a life coach, I was talking to her for advice, and she says, do you enjoy your time on your own?
I remember this, yeah.
Time where you're just by yourself.
That also resonated. When you told me that, I was like, shit, I don't know.
Am I happy?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I did it. It's like when I spend, and I thought about that at that time, my alone time was like sitting in my room watching YouTube the whole day. And sure, it's like small little entertaining videos, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with myself.
Yeah.
I didn't love myself enough. And that's why I realized the way you learn to love yourself is you're not watching YouTube. You're getting closer to your ideal self. You're hitting your goals. You're working hard on in my football. That was my one. Yeah. Working hard on my psychology papers and readings. And it made me happier because I loved myself more, because I could see, oh damn, I'm competent. I'm achieving my goals. And it made me love myself. And I think that's the key. That's why I think in your alone time, that's what you should be doing. And
I think even in your free time where you genuinely, like, you don't have a paper to write or you don't have anything to do, also try your best not to be on YouTube then. Like, try. What I find really helps is going for a walk. What I've started doing is try go for like shopping trips alone. Start going. What I really want to do, I told you this as well. I want to start going to, like, I want to go to a restaurant alone one night and just see, can I have dinner with myself? Like, can I just chill by myself and that kind of thing? Put yourself in those kind of situations where you're forced to be alone when you would normally be more comfortable being with another person. I think that's how you genuinely also figure out what you want to do, or how you want to live your life.
Exactly. I love the idea of just like, there's something so freeing and therapeutic about going on a walk. Yeah. Walking on the beach on your own.
Even listening to music, because like it's kind of like background noise to your thoughts.
Yes.
It's like a theme track to your brain.
You're making me think I'm literally having a flashback after the breakup when I was just walking on the beach and I had Floyd with me, my little dog, my companion, and he's just running around. But I'm like looking at the sunset, I'm looking at the waves, and it's just
Yeah.
it's and there's definitely some kind of human nature connection there. You know, there's some kind of therapeutic thing to be
I
in nature.
dare you to go for a walk and not feel better afterwards.
Right.
Dare you to go for a
Right.
walk.
I think even neurobiologically, like just scientifically, it makes you happier when you go and have a release like that.
Even when I'm happy and I go for a walk, I just feel even better
Even
after a walk.
happier.
It's just you just
Right.
feel like you kind of, it's like a way to clear your head.
Yeah.
It's so good to clear your head because you naturally, you're not on your phone, you know, like you like looking around, you naturally process things a lot better. There's no noise. There's no TikTok notification blowing up your phone. There's no Instagram notification. There's no fear of someone else walking in your room. It's just you.
It's just you and your thoughts.
Yeah, and it's so much easier to process them for some reason. It's like you find solutions on a walk. I feel like same thing in a shower. I was listening to a YouTuber who said that like moments where you have nothing else to do but sit with yourself is when you find like the most solutions. So that's why people say they come up with the best ideas in the shower.
Yeah,
because you're not on your phone. You can't do anything but sit with yourself in the shower.
You're just alone with your thoughts, and your thoughts start to run with things. You just go down rabbit holes.
You find solutions,
and that's where you need to practice your self-awareness the most, right? Now, when you talk about self-awareness, it's like not just having thoughts. It's when you have a thought, question your thoughts. Say like, why am I thinking this? Why do I think this way? And I think that's a good opportunity for people to practice self-love and self-compassion when you're going on walks on your own and you're alone with your thoughts. And you think to yourself of all those times you were so negative to yourself and think, but why? Why? Were the outcomes really that bad? What was the worst that happened? Why was I so harsh on myself? Really start to question that. And then talk to yourself in your head, say, I need to start saying more loving things to myself. And practice that. Practice those thoughts. Like, have it as like the guy at the back. Like, hey, don't be negative. Don't be negative. Be positive. That's self-awareness. That's mindfulness. And that comes from meditation, therapeutic walks. That's where you do it.
And I think that's how we'll end episode 6.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful episode.
Nice little bow. Wrapping up.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you guys learned something from this pod. And we appreciate you guys listening. Be sure to like, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, keep tuning in.
Give us a 5-star rating.
5-star rating. Apple Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts now. Thank you guys for enjoying our content. And we truly, we do this because we want people to take something from it and improve their lives.
So, Ikigai.
And we want you to find your Ikigai, find your purpose, find happiness and meaning. And we truly wish that for all our viewers. So have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.